Rayan Malik had never waited for anyone in his life, traffic lights included. His black sports car sliced through the rain-soaked streets like a predator, engine roaring as pedestrians scrambled out of the way. The city lights reflected off the windshield, blurred by speed and arrogance. Rayan laughed into his phone, careless and loud. "Relax," he said smugly. "If there's a problem, money fixes it." The light ahead turned red. Rayan didn't slow down. A sharp impact shattered the rhythm of rain and laughter. The car jolted violently. Something rolled across the hood. Rayan slammed the brakes, his smile vanishing, not from fear, but irritation. "What the hell?" he snapped. He stepped out, rain soaking his designer jacket. A small crowd was already forming. On the road lay a woman, her body twisted unnaturally, hands clutching her swollen belly. Blood mixed with rain beneath her. She was crossing slowly. Rayan shouted, pointing accusingly. "Is this a hospital road?" A man yelled back, "She's pregnant, you monster." The woman groaned softly. Her face was pale, lips trembling. "My baby, please." Rayan looked down at her, annoyed. He felt no guilt, only inconvenience. He reached into his pocket, pulled out a thick wad of cash, and tossed it beside her like trash. "Here," he said coldly. "Take it and stop screaming." Gasps rippled through the crowd. An elderly woman cried, "Have some shame." Rayan smirked. "Shame doesn't pay bills." The pregnant woman slowly turned her head toward him. Her eyes were filled with pain, but also something else. Calm, strength, dignity. "I don't want your money," she whispered. Rayan laughed. "Everyone wants money. You just don't know it yet." She winced as another wave of pain hit. "Still," she spoke clearly. "My husband is coming." Rayan raised an eyebrow. "Good. He can take you to the hospital and thank me." A man from the crowd warned him, "You should be careful." Rayan scoffed. "Careful? Do you know who my father is?" Thunder rumbled overhead. The rain intensified, drenching the street in uneasy silence. The woman closed her eyes, breathing heavily, one hand protecting her unborn child. Rayan turned back toward his car, already bored. Behind him, the woman whispered, soft, steady, and certain. "He doesn't forgive injustice." Rayan paused. For the first time that night, something felt wrong. The rain kept falling, but the street had gone unnaturally quiet. Aisha lay on the cold asphalt, every breath tearing through her body. Pain radiated from her back to her stomach in sharp waves, yet her hand never left her belly. She could feel the baby move, weak, frightened, and that terrified her more than the blood soaking her clothes. "Ambulance!" Someone shouted again. Rayan sighed loudly, checking his watch as if late for dinner. "Call whoever you want. I've done my part." A man from the crowd bent down, trying to help Aisha sit up. Rayan snapped, "Don't touch her. If something happens, you'll blame me more." Aisha opened her eyes slowly. Her voice was faint, but steady. "You already did enough." Rayan crouched in front of her, lowering his voice like a threat wrapped in politeness. "Listen carefully. Take the money. Say it was your fault. Walk away alive." She looked at the cash beside her, now soaked, sticking to the road. Then she looked at him. "No." The word shocked him more than the accident itself. People murmured. Someone filmed with their phone. Rayan's jaw tightened. He hated being watched. He hated being challenged. "You think you're brave," he sneered. "You think your poor husband can do something." Aisha swallowed hard. Her vision blurred, but she reached into her pocket and pulled out her phone with trembling fingers. The screen was cracked. "I don't need bravery," she said. "I need truth." She pressed call. Rayan stood up, irritated. "This is getting ridiculous." Minutes passed. Sirens wailed in the distance but hadn't arrived yet. The crowd grew thicker. Whispers spread like fire. Who is she calling? She looks calm. Suddenly, headlights cut through the rain. One black SUV. Then another. And another. They stopped in perfect alignment. Doors opened simultaneously. Men stepped out. Disciplined, alert, scanning every face. They didn't shout. They didn't run. They controlled the street without saying a word. Rayan felt a strange tightness in his chest. "Who the hell are these people?" he muttered. One of the men approached Aisha, kneeling beside her. His voice softened. "Ma'am, we're here." She exhaled, relief finally breaking through her composure. "Thank you." Rayan stepped forward angrily. Hey, this is a public road. You can't just block traffic. The man ignored him completely. Then a final vehicle arrived. Dark, unmarked, commanding attention by its silence alone. The door opened. A tall figure stepped out, rain rolling off his coat like it knew better than to stay. Aisha's eyes filled with tears. You came. The man nodded once. His gaze shifted slowly, and locked onto Rayan. Rayan took an unconscious step back. The rain felt colder now. The man didn't raise his voice. He didn't rush, yet the entire street seemed to lean toward him. Rain dripped from his coat as he walked forward, each step measured, controlled. The men who had arrived with him subtly shifted, forming a quiet perimeter. No weapons were visible, but everyone felt them. Rayan forced a laugh, his confidence cracking. Sir, listen, this is all a misunderstanding. The man stopped inches away from him. You were driving, he said calmly. Too fast. You ignored the signal. Rayan swallowed. I can pay for the damage. Medical bills. Whatever you want. The man's eyes never left his. You threw money at my wife. The word wife echoed like a verdict. A hush fell over the crowd. Phones trembled in raised hands. Rayan straightened his jacket, trying to regain control. I didn't know who she was. The man tilted his head slightly. If she were unknown, would your behavior be justified? Rayan opened his mouth. No words came. One of the suited men stepped closer and whispered to a bystander, who gasped. The whisper spread. That's General Hamza Rahman. Rayan felt his legs weaken. General Rahman. The name carried more weight than Rayan's father's entire empire. Rayan's voice dropped to a whisper. General. I swear I didn't mean. General Rahman raised a single finger. Rayan fell silent instantly. My country has laws, the general said evenly. They apply equally, even to sons of billionaires. Police sirens finally pierced the air. Patrol cars stopped. Not in front of Rayan, but beside General Rahman. Officers stepped out, straight-backed, respectful. Sir, the inspector said, nodding. We're ready. Rayan panicked. He pulled out his phone, hands shaking. I'll call my father. He'll fix this. General Rahman nodded once. Please. Minutes later, Rayan's father arrived, escorted, pale and breathless. The powerful tycoon looked at his son, then at the general, and his shoulders slumped. I'm sorry, the father said quietly. Not to Rayan, to the general. My son will face the law, General Rahman replied. No pressure, no interference. Rayan dropped to his knees, rain soaking through his clothes. Dad. His father turned away. As medics lifted Aisha onto a stretcher, General Rahman held her hand. I'm here, he said softly. She squeezed his fingers. I knew. General Rahman stood, his voice final. Take him. The handcuffs clicked shut. For the first time in his life, Rayan Malik had nothing to buy his way out. The courtroom was packed, not with the rich and powerful who usually controlled everything, but with ordinary people, shopkeepers, taxi drivers, students, women in simple scarves, people who had been waiting for a moment like this for years. They didn't know Aisha personally. They didn't know General Hamza Rahman. But they knew the feeling of being crushed by someone who believed money could erase their crimes. Rayan Malik sat in the defendant's chair, his expensive suit now wrinkled and dirty. The bright lights of the courtroom felt like the sun for the first time, exposing every flaw, every weakness. He looked smaller than he had ever felt. His father sat in the front row, his head bowed. He was a man who had once controlled the city, but now he looked like a man praying for forgiveness he did not deserve. The judge entered. Silence. The prosecutor stood, voice sharp and steady. On the night of the incident, he began, the defendant drove recklessly, hit a pregnant woman, and attempted to bribe her with money. This is not an accident. It is a crime born from arrogance and privilege. Rayan's face twisted. He tried to speak, to defend himself, but his voice came out weak. I didn't mean to. The prosecutor cut him off. Meaning does not erase harm. Aisha sat in the witness box. Her hair was tied back, her eyes tired but unbroken. She stared directly at Rayan. Did you apologize? The prosecutor asked. Aisha's voice was quiet, but clear. No. A hush ran through the courtroom. Rayan's cheeks flushed. His hands trembled. The prosecutor continued. Did you offer her money and call her attention a nuisance? Aisha nodded. Yes. Rayan tried to stand. The judge's gavel slammed down. Sit, he commanded. The judge looked at Rayan, not with anger, but with disappointment. You were given a life many can only dream of. Yet you chose to treat another human being like a problem. Rayan's father clenched his fists. The verdict came. Guilty. Rayan's eyes widened. His mouth opened, but no words escaped. The judge announced the sentence. 3 years in prison. No parole. No exceptions. The courtroom erupted in murmurs. Some cheered quietly. Others simply stared, stunned that justice had finally been served. Rayan was led away. As he passed Aisha, he looked at her, hungry for forgiveness, desperate for pity. But her eyes held nothing but truth. She didn't say a word. And that silence was more powerful than any speech. Outside the courthouse, the rain had stopped. Aisha stepped into the sunlight. General Hamza Rahman stood beside her, protective and proud. A crowd surrounded them, not to celebrate, but to witness the rare moment when justice defeated privilege. A reporter asked Aisha, "Do you feel relieved?" She looked at the crowd, then at the sky. "I feel like the world is finally listening," she said. Rayan Malik's empire had fallen. Not because someone took it away, but because the truth finally took its place.